the world would not be the same. Few people laughed. Few people cried. Most people were silent. I remembered the line from the Hindu scripture, the Bhagavad Gita. Vishnu is trying to persuade the prince that he should do his duty, and to impress him takes on his multi-armed form and says, "Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds." I suppose we all thought that one way or another.
Our group reached out to the United States Department of Energy's Archive and Record Management Division to ask what footage of American nuclear tests were available to the public. We were directed to an online repository containing digitalized film reels dating back from the 1940s through the 1960s. We found the following footage particularly poignant, and we would like to invite you to watch it with us. We believe that this footage offers an unprecedented behind-the-scenes look at the interactions between militaries, politics, and the sciences. This footage depicts a United States Army training exercise involving a small-yield atomic bomb. It was shot in 1959 at the infamous Nevada Proving Grounds, approximately 100 miles due northwest of Las Vegas. These tests were close enough to Las Vegas that you could watch the detonations from the city. This became the atomic experience, a popular social time and tourist attraction throughout the 1950s and 1960s. These films have been sanitized and censored by the United States government to remove confidential information. You will also notice that there is some degradation to the film itself from both radiation exposure in 1959 during its shooting, as well as storage and natural chemical decay over subsequent decades. Despite this, the film is in remarkably good condition for its age. Harnessing the power of the atom was a long sought-after dream of governments and scientists alike. Physics and politics became increasingly intertwined in the 1930s. The atomic sciences were viewed as an ever-expanding stage for military and political applications. This was further fueled by World War II, which sparked a worldwide race for understanding the secrets of the atom. Global powers each forged their own top-secret scientific teams and aimed at being the first to develop an atomic bomb. The Americans had the Manhattan Project, the Germans had the Uranverein, and the Soviets had the Soviet Atomic Bomb Project based in the close city of Atomgrad. These are just a few among many globally. It was ultimately the American Manhattan Project that won the race for the atomic bomb. On the 16th of July 1945, the first atomic bomb, codenamed Trinity, was detonated by the United States in New Mexico in a scene not unlike the one that you're watching now. 1 month later, in August 1945, the two infamous atom bombs, Little Boy and Fat Man, were dropped on the Japanese cities of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. These bombs are widely accredited as being a vital turning point from World War II. However, they also ushered in the atomic age, which has defined politics and science since 1945. The atomic age is a moniker that refers to the period of rapid scientific research and development that has occurred since the Trinity test in 1945. Atoms were heralded as a symbol of prosperity and synonymous with the future by some, but others viewed them as a dangerous tool now in the hands of man. Dr. J. Robert Oppenheimer, widely viewed as the father of the atomic bomb, and whose voice you heard in the recording at the beginning of this video, was one such opponent. He famously remarked after the Trinity test that I am become death, the destroyer of worlds. We must stop and ask, could this also be a prophecy for humanity's future? Virtually all industries were interested in the atom due to its prospects of potentially limitless energy. The United States government's Project Plowshare was another shocking application for atomic weapons. Project Plowshare was the United States' proposed project for the use of atomic bombs as a tool for peaceful construction, such as in mines and to create artificial canals and harbors. Perhaps the most domestic of atomic applications occurred in 1957, when Ford Motors designed the Ford Nucleon, a family car powered by a small nuclear reactor. The realm of political science also saw developments from the atomic bombs, such as the birth of MAD, or the concept of mutually assured destruction, which we will discuss later in this film. In this piece, we aim to investigate atomic weapons and delve into their inner workings. We must stop and ask the following questions. Who is involved? Why did they do it? What exactly happens during an atomic bomb detonation? And what does the future hold for humanity? We invite you to join us as we try to discover the answers to these questions.
Here to expose two separate scientists.
We're going to be introducing you to two scientists that have been working with nuclear weapons. We've just made our way down to their lab. We're going to go figure out what they're trying to do.
So follow us and we'll see. So as you see, we've made it finally to their own lab. Now we're going to take a look inside and see what they've been up to.
The goal was just to protect your country, to show other countries how powerful you could be. Yeah, we were aware of the effects, but we're also aware of how powerful other countries could be, and we didn't want to be vulnerable to that.
Hi, I'm a scientist from the Russian Tsar Bomb Project,
And I'm here from the American Manhattan Project.
and we're here to discuss peace.
Operation Castle, the fifth in a series of tests at the Pacific Proving Grounds. Another accumulation of men, of machines, another meeting of ships and aircraft and troops. Here was the best of physics, of metallurgy, of electronics.
This photograph was taken from an airplane at 50 miles. The width of the fireball at this time, about 3 seconds after detonation, was 4 miles. The frame size of the picture is 6 by 8 miles. The top of the fireball at this time, 40 seconds after detonation, was 5 miles above sea level. Proved that we can have a high-yield weapon weighing less than 10 tons.
The tremendous yield resulted in a serious fallout situation at Bikini and certain other atolls downwind from ground zero.
When we joined, we never really considered where we'd be using it. We just assumed it was against the Germans. As well, it was very expensive. It was exceeded $2 billion the development of it, and I just thought this is just not something I want to be a part of. Money can be used on much better things and improving our standard of living.
Working on seemingly unrelated jobs, many employees were not even sure they were producing anything. And few workers had any conception of the fabulous costs involved.
Here it is, General Groves, plutonium.
Well, that's the first time I've seen it, but if you don't mind, I wish you'd hold that under it, because after all, there's about $50 million in that test tube.
Испытаний новых образцов водородных зарядов 30 октября 1961 года был произведен взрыв чистой водородной бомбы с тротиловым эквивалентом 50 миллионов тонн. Последний инструктаж экипажей. Разрешен запуск моторов. Заработали турбовинтовые двигатели. Управление сбросом бомбы переводится на автоматику. Сигнал «Сброс». На Д-8 включается программный автомат аппаратуры опытного поля. «Сброс». Экипаж одевает защитные очки.
can you exactly detail what happens in your nuclear weapon test, or just in general what happens?
Yeah. So the bomb was dropped in the nuclear testing range just north of the Arctic Circle. So there's no inhabitants there. And it was powerful enough to give third-degree burns to people who were 62 miles away. The land that it was dropped on, it was dropped in air, but the land that it was dropped on was completely melted and flattened out. And it was 3,333 times larger than the one dropped on Hiroshima. So you can just imagine how powerful that was. And if there were people around, what would have happened to them. And originally, it was actually supposed to be double that, but they thought that, our designers thought that people in northern Russia would actually feel the effects of that. It was that strong, so they had to reduce it. And it was people in Norway and Finland even reported their windows shattering from just the sheer power of the bomb. So that's just like really, it's scary to hear about that.
Since its inception in 1968, 190 countries have signed the Treaty on the Non-Proliferation of Nuclear Weapons. This treaty aims to prevent the spread of nuclear weapons, stresses the importance of peaceful applications for nuclear technologies, and encourages nations to strive towards nuclear disarmament. Despite this, there are currently over 15,000 reported nuclear weapons around the world in arsenals throughout 9 countries. Since the 1960s, mutually assured destruction, or the guaranteed utter annihilation of both the attacker and the defender from full-scale nuclear deployment, has prevented the use of atomic weapons in the context of direct warfare. The question is, will this balance last? Millions of people have participated in or created protests and movements against nuclear weapons since the Trinity test. In 2016, organizations around the world, including Toronto's own Science for Peace, are strongly advocating for full-scale nuclear disarmament. It is obvious from the 15,000 warheads in existence that more must be done to achieve peace. We encourage you to be vocal, write letters to your politicians, and educate your friends and families about nuclear weapons. Perhaps then can we achieve peace.